to episode 2 of AOR, Album-Oriented Reviews, where I will try to expose and shed some light on some of the most underrated music artists of all time, in my opinion. That statement really stands true with episode 2 here, because this is an artist, unlike Survivor or Journey, this is an artist and an album you really don't hear get mentioned that often. I am talking about Glen Burtnick. Now, who the hell is Glen Burtnick, do you ask? Glen Burtnick, his most famous stint was when he was a member of Styx. That was one of his most known appearances. I'm not really sure what his role was with Styx. I don't know if he was a singer or a guitar player or both. But that was indeed his most famous role was with Styx. He was born and raised in New Jersey, and he's very notable as a songwriter for artists such as Randy Travis and Patti Smythe. He was a member of the New Jersey band La Bamba and the Hubcaps. I'd be lying if I said I've heard that band, so I'm gonna have to look up La Bamba and the Hubcaps to see if they're any good or not. He is also very notable for having written the song Perfect World, which was covered by a variety of artists such as What If, Alias, and Tony OK. One of Burtnick's earliest kind of lights to fame was when he played Paul McCartney in Beatlemania. I myself have never really been too huge of a Beatles fan. It's just not really, I respect the Beatles and everything, but that's kind of outside of my musical range. I've never really been too into the 60s or 70s kind of scene. Like, that was just never really my thing. Throughout the 80s, he got his name out there a little bit by having a few soundtrack songs, such as Not So Far Away on the Bill and Ted soundtrack, and Some Kind of Day from the Armed and Dangerous soundtrack. The album I'm here talking to you today about. He had 2 awesome AOR melodic rock albums in the 80s. One from 1986, and then Heroes and Zeros from 1987. The one I'm talking to you today about is the 1986 album, Talking in Code. Now, with episode 1, I was very bland on talking about Survivor. I kind of got through it quick, because that's a band all music enthusiasts know well about. They all know Survivor. You all know Journey. You all know bands like that. But this is an album, this was never a huge commercial hit in the 80s. This was never too common, which is a damn shame, because these songs are underrated. Going through them, we have Crank It Up, which is a real cool, that's one thing I really like about this album. These songs on this album are really, really moody and cool, and it's, the album has a really cool aura about it. Like, the songs, some of them have, a tribal kind of atmosphere to them with the synths and everything, and the percussion. Apparently, it was all performed by Glen Burtnick. Voice, guitars, bass, keyboards, and percussion, and then, he had some guest musicians, but he is a multi-instrumentalist, which is definitely always an awesome trait to have in the music industry, especially now in a world like today where they just fake everything in the computer. So, Crank It Up, Talking in Code. Talking in Code is a perfect example of a song that's kind of tribal sounding with the synths and everything like that. It's got a really cool vibe to it. Little Red House. Little Red House was actually a single off of this. Glen Burtnick actually made a music video for Little Red House. It's a really rockin' 80s song. If you love rock music and stuff, it's a great jam. Perfect World, this is the song that was covered by 3 different bands that I know of. I know Alias covered it for the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead soundtrack. There was another lesser-known melodic rock band called What If that covered it, as well as Tony OK, which I'm not really too positive on what that band's like, but their version of it was pretty good. Hole in My Pocket, which is actually the song I discovered this album by. One of my friends sent me the song Hole in My Pocket, and it was an absolutely awesome song. That's when I really got into it. It's got some really cool vocal harmonies, some really cool, ticking synth kind of things, almost like it's a clock. That song is awesome. It's got a really cool refrain, some really cool harmonious vocal chants and everything. Hole in My Pocket is a great song, despite it having a really random title. Side 2, we have Brave Hearts, which is, it's more, that one is more like a pop rock song. It's got a really cool kind of poppy, almost kind of like a dance melody going along with it, but it's a great song. Hold Back the Night is one of my favorites on the album. It's a synth-driven song, really moody, really atmospheric, really cool. Definitely give that one a shout. Not really a shout out, but give it a listen. I'm giving it a shout out to it. Talk That Talk is kind of like it's like a rock song, but it has like with the guitar melodies and everything, it's got kind of like that thing like a hip hop song, like that's another really rockin' one, as is Heart on the Line, and it closes out with We're All Right, which is an awesome, it's a very typical 80s rocker song. It's got a big chorus, awesome verse, you know, good melody going through. Now, the whole point of me doing this series is to get some of these bands and songs from back in the day noticed. Like, none of these have really had commercial success, none of them are really that well known, but they're fantastic, and that's exactly the case with Talking in Code by Glen Burtnick. If you love 80s music, if you love 80s rock music, this album has a little bit of everything for you. Burtnick's voice is fantastic. The instrumentation is great. The instruments are all great. As I said, the album is very moody and very atmospheric. They definitely knew what they were doing. This album was made with care. Like you could tell, like when they were writing these songs and performing them, this is a lineup of people making this album that really cared about it and they knew what they wanted to make. So this is a great album. Talking in Code by Glen Burtnick. Definitely check it out. And until next time, keep on rocking, look up some of these songs, definitely give melodic rock a big space in your heart, and I will see you for the next time. Until then, keep on talking in code.